I told you that the key to happiness might be more within your control than you think? In my English class, we read Anna Karenina, which begins with the infamous line, "All happy families are alike, each unhappy family unhappy in its own way." This line prompted a discussion, and then a peer asked a simple question, well, what is happiness? The class fell silent as we realized that this line and our conversation were impossible to fully understand without unpacking this. This question stayed with me and led to many more. Can we control our happiness? Is it a matter of choice, perspective, or circumstance? Happiness is deeply personal, and while it may seem elusive, we have more control over it than we often think. That said, the challenge lies in figuring out how much of it is within our control and how much depends on external factors. The journey to happiness begins with recognizing that it is a choice that you can shape and a choice that we are all going to make here today. Eudaimonia is a Greek word that means flourishing or well-being. It is seen as something we are all born with, not something we can choose or get rid of. For ancient Greek philosopher Socrates, it was seen as the ultimate goal of life, achieved by moral virtue. Today, happiness is often defined as a satisfying experience or a state of well-being and contentment. The word happy itself comes from Old Norse and Old English roots, meaning luck or chance. So, what is it? Is happiness something that happens to us, or is it something that we create? The extent to which our genes influence our happiness is extensive. Genes influence 35 to 50% of our overall sense of joy, and specific stable components of happiness can have heritability rates as high as 80%. Longitudinal studies that track the same individual over a certain amount of time, found that genetic variation accounts for 44 to 52% of our overall well-being, and the rest is up to us. Key genes like the 5-HTT-LPR gene and the MAO gene play a huge role in the happiness we inherit or don't. The 5-HTT-LPR gene regulates serotonin, influencing mood and life satisfaction. People with long alleles report higher happiness than those with short ones. An allele is a gene or a trait. You inherit two, one from each parent for each gene. The MAO gene controls serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. Low activity variants are linked to greater happiness, especially in women. This also influences neurotransmitters critical to our mood, such as dopamine, associated with pleasure and reward, serotonin, linked to mood stability and optimism, and norepinephrine, which shapes how we perceive and respond to emotions. Even brain regions critical to our mood, such as the prefrontal cortex, amygdala, and hippocampus, are shaped by genetic factors. Let's talk about what we think makes us happy, like income, education, and relationship status. Research shows that these only account for 10 to 15% of our happiness, but it's still important to understand how these factors influence us. Take income, for example. We've all heard the saying, money can't buy happiness. And while that's partly true, it doesn't tell the whole story. Being able to live without constant stress and pay your bills is invaluable, but beyond a certain point, happiness is not about the size of your bank account. It's about how you use it. Research has consistently shown that investing in experience, like a concert, outing, or trip, is linked to greater happiness than purchasing material things. An experience leaves you with a feeling of joy before, after, and during the event, while material things may offer short-term excitement, that feeling fades quickly. Happiness also has a ripple effect. A study conducted by James Fowler and Nicholas Kozlowski at UCSD and Harvard University found that happiness can spread through social networks like a ripple effect, positively impacting people up to 3 degrees of separation. So essentially, when you engage positively with others, or somebody other people want to be around, that doesn't just stop with you. It creates a positive chain reaction throughout your society, impacting friends of friends of friends. Not everyone experiences happiness the same way. What brings one person joy may leave another feeling indifferent. For instance, raise your hand if you thrive in a more social setting. Now raise your hand if you thrive in a quieter setting. And even between those two groups, there may be disparities, which is why self-awareness is so important. While you can't control every external factor in your life, you can take charge of the small, everyday decisions that contribute to your overall happiness. And this starts with self-awareness, which is the ability to recognize what truly brings you joy and purpose. Here are 3 key steps to increasing your self-awareness. Step 1, reflect. After any experience or event, take a moment to ask yourself, how did that make me feel? Was I happy, upset, or indifferent? Continued reflection can allow for you to fully understand which actually adds or detracts from your happiness. Step 2 is revise. If something isn't working, don't stick with it. Be willing to change your hobbies, friends, and even relationships. Self-awareness comes with the ability to be flexible and make changes. Step 3, have courage. True self-awareness comes from looking into the parts of your mind that may feel uncomfortable or even embarrassing. But by understanding these hidden aspects, you allow for happiness. The key to happiness is not about fitting into a universal formula. It's about figuring out what works for you. And when you increase your happiness, that doesn't just stop with you. It spreads to the community around you. So I have a challenge for you. Start small, reflect, revise, and be courageous. After all, happiness is not about seeking external validation or success. It's about choosing to take control. Thank you.